Or is it going to be ToD? Let's find out.
IPL 5. Welcome to IPL 5 Ohana.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on Ohana. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you the first player of this marathon tournament. In the blue trunks to the southeast playing Zerg, it is...
Azubu Violet.
There he is, looking nice and focused in the booth. He is ready to show you his stuff. He's ready to rock and roll. But his first challenger is hardly easy by any stretch of the imagination. To the northwest of Ohana, in the red trunks, playing Protoss, it is...
Root Gaming ToD.
That's right, the Frenchman, the big tall Frenchman, ready to play for you guys against viOlet. It's going to be a difficult one for sure, but we'll see how he's going to do. Of course, the observing is done by a legend himself.
Absolutely.
He is here in Las Vegas.
Best in the business.
That is right indeed. So, well, of course, Ohana is a two-player map, a small two-player map, so we could see a lot of two-base, three-base pushes from ToD. Being a smaller map means there's less reactionary time for the Zerg player. Therefore, that could be the strength on what he will want to rely on. So far, it looks like he's going to be going for a Nexus first, just opening up with a very strong economy. Getting that Nexus down first is extra chrono boost, gets more probes out faster. And as we see, viOlet is attempting to get down that hatchery, but is being pushed away for now from that probe, and will get it down.
Should be okay. He went for his pool on 14, so putting down the hatchery right now is just right. So honestly, not too much harassment really done there by ToD thus far. And there is an elephant in the room that we have to address when it comes to this map and this particular matchup, which is of course the very real possibility of the Immortal Sentry all-in.
That is right. That is so right, Total Biscuit. The Sentry Immortal in is very, very strong on this map. As mentioned, it's relatively small. It's not too far to walk across the map. For example, if viOlet was to over-drone by just 5 drones, even though as simple as that sounds, that's a wave of units he will not have to prevent ToD from walking across the map. To get into position, to land the force fields, to win the game as easy as can be. But we do have the Forge into the Gateway. We noticed one thing, though, is that he got a second pylon down before adding on the Forge and Gateway, which means he's going to have a lot more probes out. He can chrono boost into the Nexus a lot earlier on here. But that is very, very dangerous. But in this game, it's not, because there's only 2 links being made. They're going around looking for pylons. So ToD's actually playing a little bit greedy to get more probes out early on, to have a better economy, therefore to power harder in the next couple of minutes in this game.
Yeah, one has to wonder what the end game of that particular strategy is. It has to be some kind of well-timed out build. What kind of build, what kind of aggression are we going to be seeing here from the one and only ToD?
Well, the ToD confirms the 3rd hatchery is down. As a pro player, you always want to confirm that. You don't know if it's going to be a 2-base all-in or not. And now he knows that, okay, well, he's on 3 bases. He doesn't have gas. He's going to be droning. I'm okay to kind of throw whatever I want down. And as we can see, some viOlet stats there. You know, he won the IEM, was his first big tournament. He then went on to win an MLG. He got into the round of 4 in the IEM Cologne as well. IPL 3 got round of 16, and then unfortunately didn't quite make it out the open bracket. His IPL 4 was such a stacked tournament, but he's here in IPL 5 looking to get better and to really get a good win here.
Yeah, this is a tournament that he really needs to do well in, honestly, because in the previous IPLs, as we see, he hasn't been playing as strongly as he has been in other tournaments. Being a Spring Arena winner, one would expect a better performance from viOlet. Lately, he has been doing very well indeed. But if we talk about ToD, then ToD also had very similar problems with IPL, which seems to be a tournament which is the bane of many top players. And honestly, he hasn't had a big win under his belt for a very long time indeed.
That's right. He hasn't really, managed to accomplish the same as he did in Warcraft 3. But one thing we can note in this game already is that we have a Stargate coming down instead of Robotics Facility.
Yep.
So we are not going to see the Immortal all in. He's going to be going for a Stargate pressure initially. So there's kind of two ways. I think what we're going to see from ToD is that's his style, is he likes to get a Void Ray out early on into Phoenixes, or a Phoenix initially on, but he won't save them. I'm pretty sure he's the kind of player that likes to get rid of the Overlords early on to slow the Protoss down, to supply cap them, as simple as that sounds. Of course, the other option for him to do is to throw down and hide Phoenixes, but with a third Nexus coming down so early on, he's going to have to use a Void Ray for defensive reasons. And there's the Void Ray. He has to come out, because if he didn't have a Void Ray, how the hell is he going to stop units such as the Roaches coming to deny that third base?
Yeah, there's no question about that. You can't just take the third Nexus and then expect the Zerg not to react to it. The Zerg doesn't want to take the fourth so early on, and ToD able to just defend against a couple of Lings that are scouting. And honestly, we don't have a huge amount of information available for viOlet as of yet. He has to suspect the possibility of that all-in behavior.
Yeah, Zealot going toe-to-toe with his Queen, and in a one-on-one fight, the Zealot wins here.
He does.
viOlet, is he just going to lose that Queen?
I guess he is. He's more interested in trying to do some damage here, but the Void Ray is now being revealed, and it looks like this should be cleaned up, although we may lose a sentry. Yes, absolutely we will. ToD with an uncharacteristic slip right there. The Stalker should hopefully stay alive. Yes, he'll be able to micro that out without too much of a problem. And now a lot of gateways going down at the front here. Ling's able to clean up this pylon on the fourth base.
He didn't lose the Queen, though, and it doesn't look like viOlet's going to even attempt to try to pressure anything on that third base. So double evolution chamber down, he's upgrading both the melee upgrades, not worrying about getting Roaches, getting the Roach attack out, and he's gone straight for a lair. What we'll see very shortly, upon realizing that he's not going to be able to break this down, the gateway wall is complete, there's the Void Ray out, there's also going to be cannons behind, is we'll see viOlet drone heavily, and then he's going to take a fourth base, and as soon as that lair finishes, the Infestation Pit will come immediately down, because he will have to start to prepare for any 3-base attacks, which could come faster than they would do usually because of how fast that third Nexus is down. ToD is playing a really good game, he's got a really good economy, and he's going to be able to power very strong. The only one thing that was missing from ToD was the Twilight Council, which was a little bit late, which means he can't continue to upgrade very heavily from that Forge, but he didn't start +1 early on, so it's not going to be a problem in this case.
A little bit of scouting here from the Phoenix. Currently, there's only one Phoenix on the map and 2 Void Rays, so a very, potentially an aggressive posture there, but with the amount of Spore Crawlers on the map, it seems like he'd want to use the Void Rays for defensive reasons, and perhaps just for pushing Overlords away. The single Phoenix is for scouting only. He's not following up with anything else from that Stargate. That nice little gateway wall off is giving him security on the third base at the moment, and for the next couple of minutes, chances are we're going to see a bit of passive behavior as the Infestation Pit comes up here for viOlet.
Yeah, the Infestation Pit is down, and we're not going to see any movement in this game for a good couple of minutes, as you said. So it's going to be down to how is ToD going to play this out. viOlet has to take a fourth base momentarily. Of course, as a Zerg player, you always need to be a base above for your opponent, and we'll see that come down very shortly. ToD, though, can start to build an assault. So he can throw down a lot of gateways. He can go with a +2 and blink attack. He can throw down the Robobait and start to build Colossus. But what I think we're going to see right now is this isn't his assault. That isn't his main attack.
No, it's not.
This is to force units out, as we're seeing Zerglings being made instead of a fourth base, instead of getting anything out there which would help him longer term. And well, as we see ToD moving out, I don't think he's going to be there very long. He wants to retreat pretty much immediately. Obviously, he's trying to find out what's going on. And with ToD throwing down a lot of gateways in the main base, I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to see. We're going to see quite a big attack very shortly. Yeah, we absolutely are. The question is he going to time it with anything? Most likely with the completion of Blink. +1 is about to kick in here. A little bit late on that upgrade, as we already see viOlet has started +2 for his Lings and the Carapace upgrade as well. We also see Pathogen Glands. And I have to wonder when this attack is actually going to hit and with what kind of strength, and whether or not he can avoid running straight into Fungal. And we have the Void Ray on the right-hand side. Nice, in this base, and kills the drone as well. Right now, we do have a Warp Prison being made. A Templar Archives on the way. 2 gateways finish up in the main base as well. So quite a few aggressive structures coming down for ToD. I'm sure we'll start to see him move out very shortly, because without wanting to get the robotics bay down or something along those lines, he can't really plan to take a fourth base too fast here. As we see an attempt towards another hatchery.
I like the way that ToD has deliberately placed these 2 Void Rays on the 2 possible 4th locations in order to try and deny for as long as possible. He's going to have to deal with Queens, but of course we're also talking about Queens that are not on creep. So if he needs to get that Void Ray away, he can't. But he's now charged the Void Ray, which I believe is actually enough damage to kill that, or at least force to cancel. viOlet's forced to cancel again. And this is a really good strategy here from ToD. I'm liking this a lot. It's buying him a ton of time. 19 more drones in production and a hive coming in right here for viOlet, and yet he's still unable to take that 4th base.
Yeah, he's actually going to have to start to build a lot of spines very shortly. There's a lot of drones coming in, and as we can see, ToD's timing is now coming together very nicely. He's got his +2 on the way. He's got a Zealot charge and Storm, and very shortly he's going to make his movement out. You don't need to wait until the upgrades finish. You can start to move before that. But as we see on the right-hand side, we do have the Warp Prism, which has been spotted immediately. What's the reaction from viOlet? He's not actually moving towards his main base at all here.
It's interesting, actually, because ToD decided as soon as he ran into that Overlord, there was no point. He knows, of course, that there is fungal growth at this point, so there's a very real possibility of losing that Warp Prism. So he decides to back out, goes for this big surge at the front instead. Storm is about done. +2 is on the way, especially if he chrono boosts. He may very well have that for the engagement. Big Ling run by on the way, but as far as I can tell, he's mostly run by Proof at this stage.
Yeah, he is, especially with that Zealot there, and he can immediately come back to actually trap a lot of these Lings, and ToD's going to get a lot of free kills here.
Okay, he's picking off a couple, and they've broken through, but only a couple of Lings, and there's the warp in, and the photon cannons clean it up without too much of a problem. viOlet immediately realizing that his Lings were completely caught out of position and outflanked. The lack of sentries actually saved viOlet there. There's only 1 sentry on the whole map here, which means pretty much no force fields available.
Yeah, I mean, ToD doesn't want to cut this army up. He just wants to take it all with one big strike, one big blow. Here it is, +2 attack is about to finish. Storm is ready as well. Good fungal on the ramp, but this is ToD's opportunity.
And great micro here by ToD initially, losing a few stalkers at the front, but blinking back out of the fungal range. And Lings trying to make their way in here, but there is so much defense, there's really no way that the Lings are going to be able to overwhelm this and actually do significant damage, especially with photon cannons in the back there. You might get a couple into the probe line. This engagement hasn't happened as of yet for ToD. He is posturing, trying to get around these infestors.
And the Warp Prism in the main as well was doing quite a bit of damage. It did eventually fall down, but did a bit of damage, pulled viOlet back, but ToD's going to attempt to break through again, and we're already starting to see him worrying about this not working as the fleet beacon has come down.
Yep.
He is looking for longer term plans now with +3 on the way and probably just take a 4th because this hasn't worked. The defense has been too good.
Good initial fungal there, but Storm right in the center, and viOlet actually sits in that one, and a second Storm coming down. Really good stuff here from ToD initially, eating a few fungals though, which is a bit concerning. Trying to get the feedback, pops an Infestor at the back right here. Void Ray support coming in for the back as well, and continuing to do damage, but he hasn't managed to break this yet. Oh,
what a great defense again by viOlet, who smashes through and is now going to get into the bulk of this Protoss army, and it has to blink away. And viOlet adapting his army composition. Remember, he started off with Ling Infestor and then switched over to Roach Infestor, realizing that Storm would destroy him. What a smart decision from viOlet, which has kept him so easily defendable against these attacks. And now ToD, without a 4th base down, I think we actually have a borrowed Zergling on that 4th base. So it's going to be very difficult for him to get back into this game.
Okay, we've got the aggression over here. The Warp Prism is now moving into the main base as well. As a quick blink and a few free roaches. Nicely done, avoids the fungal as well. The 4th base is nicely secure here. Oh, looking at Storm, drops in a huge warp in into the main base right now. Looking for a 2-pronged attack here by ToD.
Oh, he's got a sentry there, so he blocks the ramp. He can actually bring down the Greatest Spire here if he targets it.
That would be a really good thing to do right now. There are no Corruptors on the map, so we're not going to be seeing any Broodlords. If he's able to take that down, that would be absolutely huge. A second sentry. He's going in. He hasn't taken that out yet. He's going directly for the hive. He might even have the units to break this.
We'll see as he lands another force field there. We'll want to keep out the Zerg for as much as possible, but viOlet is actually on the march on the other side of the map here. And, well, he's struggling with this. And ToD, is he going to bring down the hive? A Storm goes down on the drones.
Huge Storm on the drone. The hive will fall. Nicely done there by ToD, and that is a huge blow right here. If he can take out the Great Aspire as well, that would be massive. But can he do it before the Broodlords morph in? A reasonable bank there for the Zerg, and now he has been driven out. Looks like the Warp Prism is gonna go down as well. The Great Aspire is saved for the moment, and that means Broodlord clock is ticking. This is dangerous here for ToD, but he's already got that mothership almost completed here. He's looking for +3 as well. He's actually set up fairly well to deal with this, but he does have this supply deficit, and that worries me greatly.
Yeah, that was a lot of money invested in killing the hive, and really, what does the hive being destroyed do in this game for viOlet? Well, nothing, a lot, really, because he's still got the Greatest Spire alive. I mean, eventually Creep's going to reside in the main base, but with a new hatchery being built, it's going to immediately start to regenerate. So ToD's in a bit of trouble here with 6 Broodals on the way. Sure, the mothership's going to be out, but it doesn't have enough energy for a Vortex. And even if it did, is viOlet going to clump up all his Broodlords into one single Vortex? I don't think so.
No, it's unlikely. And this is the stage where the Protoss has to think, I need to delay the ball of Broodlords as long as I possibly can in order to get that energy, in order to get that perfect anti-Broodlord composition. This is usually done by attacking on multiple fronts, using Warp Prism drops where available to try and spread out the army, because the one big weakness of the Broodlord composition is its lack of mobility.
That is right, and let's see if ToD can do anything to try to fight against this army, because he spent so many resources. Remember how this game developed is ToD threw a lot of money and resources into a three-base attack, which didn't break viOlet down. He then threw a lot of money into destroying the Hive, which didn't really do anything in this game either, and now he has to fight against a very strong army with very, very little. We have a Warp Prism abusing that lack of mobility, as you said. And viOlet, though, oh my god.
viOlet doesn't care, but he really doesn't. He knows that this is the standard Protoss strategy, to delay, to buy time. And the Spore Crawler in absolutely the wrong position here for ToD, and he's going to have to immediately get out there, looks for the Storm, feedback on the Queen, pops it very nicely. But look at this, the fourth base being absolutely destroyed. ToD is going to have to accept that that will die. He has no way of defending it at this point, but does he have the energy he needs for the Vortex?
I don't think so, not right now. He doesn't. Oh, so he does actually, he does have enough energy for a Vortex. He's going to try and go for it.
Question is, can he actually get the angle he needs? And viOlet already knows this is the risk. This is what happens here. Does he even have the Archon count to make it matter? He actually has no Archons at all. He does have 8 Templar. They could become Archons. But this, to me, seems like even if he gets the Vortex, can he do the damage?
Well, he could Storm on top of the Vortex once it's about ready to go, and he puts it on there, but that's only Roach and Lynx, and the Broodlord survive, and ToD is just going to evacuate here. And if he waits for these units to pop out, I'm afraid of his army. It will melt, but great harassment with the Warp Prism and Zealots. Broken into the main base once again, but unfortunately he can't take the fight there.
No, he can't. He's going to go for the Greatest Fire here, and it looks like that's going to be a nice pickup here for ToD. At least we're not going to be seeing any more Broodlords for a little while here, but here comes another engagement, and you don't want to be fungled right there. That would be dangerous. Fungal lands on the mothership right here, as well as the Roaches push in, and this is looking ugly. Huge storms coming down here from ToD. Will it be enough to hold? This is not looking very likely at this point. ToD's army falls. Mothership has gone down, and this is a great position for viOlet here. ToD's struggling to stay in this game.
Yeah, viOlet's got too strong of an army now. There's no mothership here. It's going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to actually defend against this. There's nothing which can actually touch the Broodlords, and with Roaches underneath and Broodlings as well, how can Stalkers even get close?
The answer is they cannot at this point in time, and down goes that wall of 194 supply to 101. An ugly situation, and there's the GG, and the first map going to the one and only Azubu viOlet.
That's right, viOlet picks up the first win here quite convincingly. A little bit shaky, of course, first game of the day for everybody here. It is very early. A lot of these players have been traveling a lot recently as well.
Huge jet lag, yeah, absolutely.
ToD did play quite well in that game. The Warp Prism use was great, but at the end of the day, still didn't have anything to deal with the Broodlords and Infestors.
Yeah, he didn't. It was unfortunate, really, that he wasn't able to make that Vortex work for him, but if only, I have to say, if only he invested in taking down the Great Aspire rather than the Hive, then that could have been a very different game indeed. Perhaps a tactical error there from ToD.
Perhaps. And we'll have to see what next map it will be here. Live from Las Vegas. I hope you enjoyed that first map. There is a lot of action on the way here. And as you can see, actually below us, there are percentages on who people think is going to win. viOlet right now with a 64%. That's what the crowd and the people at home expecting to win. And, well, they seem to be guessing right so far.
Oh, I don't really blame them on that one. That was a really strong start there from viOlet, who has been putting on great performances over the last few months. Is a very difficult opponent to actually bring down. We will be going into the next game very shortly. Folks, we're going through this entire best of 3 for you. But what do you think ToD has to do on the next map in order to really hold back the advance of viOlet? Because it seemed like